First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BBE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello. Braden
what
Herrington
up? No, sorry. I didn't know what to say. I had to interrupt.
I know. It's always empty. It's an empty world. So I'm glad someone responded. Hello, it is Braden Herrington here for Up Next on postwrestling.com. And no, I'm not joined by my partner in crime, my roommate, Davie Portman. He's got the week off. He's having some fun over in BC. So check out the show he did chatting about his time at Collision. But I am joined by not friend of the show, by family of the show, the executive producer of Up Next and Poisonrana, Mr. John Siino Evil. How are you, good sir?
And how appropriate. And when we say family, we mean family, if you know what I mean. And the show that I'm on is the one where the Italian takes the Heritage Cup from the Brits. It's so
yeah.
It's like the most perfect show you can think of for me to fill in. So
yeah,
thank you for having me here. And I hope that Davey's having a fun time over there in Vancouver.
Yes, we need NXT Italy, right?
Yes,
one day.
It's coming. It's coming.
One day it'll happen. But yes, welcome to Up Next. It is Tuesday night. We are going to chat about some NXT. So thank you for joining us here. And make sure you check us out on all the other platforms that you're subscribing to us on social media, X and Instagram at Poisonrana.pod. And again, check out the little ditty of a show Davey just dropped on Sunday, chatting all about his time at Collision, which is on the free feed. We also did a Drake and Kendrick Lamar rap beef, which was on the free feed. We also had an Eagles Don't Hunt Flies talking about Moxley in Japan on the free feed. And of course, Siino with you every week on that feed with Shot in the Dark. So lots and lots of podcasts out there. Search Poisonrana in your podcast app because we got lots and lots of wrestling shows out there and you watch everything.
And it definitely comes in handy because there's some moments tonight where you're going to be saying who, and guess what? I have the answer for those who's.
What a perfect week to have you on. And it's because tonight on NXT, there was some people that make me go like, I legit don't know who this is. So I'm happy that this is the week because there were names that I'm like, wait, who is this person? So good time to have you on, Sir Siino. But how are you doing tonight on this Tuesday?
I'm doing pretty good. I had the day off, so I just kind of relaxed. The weather's been like up and down. It's like I don't know in the morning when I take my son to school if I got to give him a hoodie or not. So now every day I'm just like, just put a hoodie in your bag, and if it gets cold, put it on. And then today ended up being like 70 degrees here, and there was no need for a hoodie. So it's one of those times of the year where I can't predict the weather. So but it looks like it's staying nice. It's been consistently 60 to 70 degrees here the last couple of days. So I hope it stays like that.
Long shift workers know this time of the year when it's like you could go to work in shorts and a tee, but by the time you leave, it could be freezing or vice versa. So I know the struggle, but it's summer. Summer's like here. It's pretty much here. Today, I was dog sitting again for Floyd. Shout out Floyd. And it was hot. It was a summer day. I was out in the park walking around and I was sweating. So I'm excited. Like we got some wrestling shows in Toronto this summer, and the city usually like Toronto's taking a beating, but I'll tell you, the city turns up when it's the summertime. So I'm definitely looking forward to all of that stuff. But and all the movies that are coming out as well because
have you seen anything? I mean, I just saw the new Planet of the Apes movie. I absolutely love it. I love the entire Planet of the Apes franchise, and the new one. I had my doubts because it's like a new trilogy and a new director and it's new characters, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this, but I was really satisfied by it, and just knowing that this is the same director that's going to be making the Legend of Zelda movie, I'm like, oh, he knows how to shoot scenery, so I'm really excited for that. And then this entire there's like 9 movies in this new like state of Planet of the Apes. So this is like the start of the second trilogy, and there's gonna be another trilogy after this. So I'm really looking forward to it. So I suggest everybody who is a fan of the Apes movie to definitely check it out. Yeah, I love this movie.
Yeah, I really want to see it. I'm actually behind, but my girlfriend is like, oh, I've never seen any of them. So last night we watched the OG. I'm talking Charlton Heston with him laughing maniacally way too many times in this movie. It's very dated, and I think this movie is just fantastic piece of cinema. Side note, I've been going through old 60s and 70s movies lately, and I don't know why. So I've watched like some old Clint Eastwood bangers. I've watched obviously Rocky, and then I was watching Planet of the Apes, Midnight Cowboy. I was doing I was watching some other action, French Connect. Like I've been watching some crazy stuff. So all old movie recommendations hit me up. But we watched the OG Planet of the Apes, and I'm like trying to catch her up. So I'm probably gonna skip a lot of the old retro sequels. I remember them not being.
Yeah, I would say like for the new one, like definitely watch the OG one, which you did, and just watch the new trilogy that came out like this past century. You know, the one with the Matthew Vaughn trilogy that came out with Caesar. Just watch those three. Honestly, you don't have to watch the sequels that came out after the original '70s ones, I think. And don't watch the Tim Burton one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like I have not watched this movie in like easily like I think I've only probably seen it when I saw it in theaters as a kid, but like. So maybe I shouldn't say, but hot take, I don't remember hating it. But again, I was a kid, so I thought those were actual monkeys and gorillas killing humans and stuff. So I mean, I'm behind on the last one that came out, so I just need to watch a few more. So I am really hyped to see this one, especially you're definitely the recommendation guy.
Yeah,
if you tell me it's good, I know it is.
I was even trying to like see if I could find the data to go to the city and like maybe hunt down because they were like on horses, these apes going around New York City. But I was scared that I might have gotten kidnapped by the Riddler because he's around the same parts of New York City. So
wait, the Riddler, the
Kendrick Lamar Drake Riddler.
Oh no, yes. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
So
yeah.
For anybody who has heard What Up Though, there's been updates since. So it's kind of taken a weird turn where there's like some anonymous Twitter user that's like he has possession of the items, and then he says he had information he wanted to blackmail Drake, and then supposedly he didn't. And I don't know, the whole thing is tricky. There's like video security camera footage. Like I'm still trying to catch up to everything, but it's
very
really
White Rabbit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very like this guy. People aren't sure if what he's talking about is legit or not, but it seems like he's got some merit to what he was talking about. But this thing is like taken over like the pop culture world by storm, that anyone who gets, dragged into it kind of affects them. Like we saw this like reporter and like his social media and everyone just bombarding New Ho King, right? Like New Ho King, I got a Google email today saying, hey, you've got 300 likes on your recommendation to New Ho King. Cause I was like, when it got referenced in the song, I was like, oh, I'll be funny. And then it turned out like thousands of people did it afterwards. So this whole thing is a phenomenon. And yeah, again, check out the show. If you're into this stuff, check out the show we did with Way B, you and me chatting all about this. But there has been some updates because like someone's now like been shot at. Someone's like died. There's been a security guard in LA who's the manager of The Weeknd. His security guard at his home was shot and killed. And then just last week here in Toronto on the Bridle Path, one of Drake's security guards got shot, and I don't think he died or anything. So I got a few messages from some listeners being like, hey, I'm not really up to date on the hippity hop, but loved your show explaining it. But back in my day, rap beefs were settled with gunshots. And then literally this is what's happened now. So I don't want people to get hurt. It's just older dudes writing poems about each other. Come on. We don't need to shoot people.
Yeah, no violence, please. I mean, there was a DJ Academics who was like kind of in the middle of all this thing because he's like with a podcaster that's been reporting on all this and kind of like premiering a lot of the songs. Now he has allegations against him, so it's only like what I said on the show, bottom of the third, right? I feel like there's so much more that's going to be coming out of this. But yes, no violence, please. Just let's keep it on wax. Try to have fun, but like this Riddler stuff is getting kind of dark when there's like blackmail involved and this and that, and there's like a mysterious person on some top of some building in New York City overseeing the bridge. It's getting really really weird.
Yeah, again, the internet, everyone wants to have their like 15 seconds of fame and doing weird shit and costing people like the guy who punched Steve Buscemi today or yesterday in New York City. You heard about this? What's with these celebrities getting punched? What's with just people random people getting punched, but Rick
Moranis a couple years ago. Yeah. And now Steve Buscemi.
So
I don't know what's going
everyone band together and find the fucking bastard who punched Steve Buscemi yesterday or today. Cause like, man, he doesn't deserve that. Steve Buscemi, he's got to put him on the list.
Yeah.
To kill list.
I'm picturing him like going undercover, like going through the colleges trying to find out who it was, and he has like the backwards hat, and he's like,
yeah,
that's what I'm picturing right now. Him trying to figure out who exactly is behind the attacks.
And that's how he got punched. I'm trying to think of some other stuff. So yeah, other than like the rap beef is done. Like the Drake basically waved the white flag, but Kendrick Lamar is reaping the benefits because you could argue, like, does this affect people's careers? It certainly affected him because it's like the biggest diss track to ever go #1. And it's on track to be not only #1 this week, probably next week, this month, yada, yada, yada. It might be one of the biggest songs just ever because of the streaming, which streaming is not like the old days of people, you'd go out and buy a CD and stuff. Things are different. But this song is basically like the Drake is dead anthem, like Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, essentially, of hip hop, and it bops, and you can attempt to, like me, crip walk to it. It's the song of the summer. It's the song of the year. It's going to be #1 played like all the time. Not Like Us by Kendrick. So the beef is over.
Yeah, it's breaking all types of records, and it's like not only that, it's like his other songs are in the top 10, right? Like Euphoria's #3, and Like That's at #6. Meet the Grams is just under the top 10 at #12, but it's like beating all of Drake's records. And of course, like all the Drake fans are like, you still needed Drake in a way to be #1, which is it's fair, It's the topic is Drake, so in a way, Drake is kind of responsible for all of Kendrick's success. But yeah, this is amazing what it's doing for hip hop and just kind of bringing it back into the limelight, whether it be in a negative way or not. But it's still like, my brother who's never listened to any of my podcasts for the first time ever, he's like, hey, can you tell me what's going on with this beef? And I sent him the link, and he listened to the entire 2 hours. Like finally, my brother actually listened to one of my podcasts, and it had to do with hip hop, if any, all things.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely had a lot of people talking. It was on the news. It still is. I get there's a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm so fed up with this. I don't care about this. There's a lot of other stuff going on. Yeah, but it's like wrestling. It's an art form and it's an escape. And it made two big artists of this generation put out lots of new music and like some good new music. It felt like both of them were kind of unmotivated, and this definitely like lit a fire under their ass. So I assume we're getting some new music from them like down the line this year, probably this summer, and that'll be another thing.
Kendrick's already like slated to release an album soon, so I think it's going to be beneficial for all of them.
And then now you're going to see all these other rappers trying to do like.
Well, the Game tried, right? The Game tried to do like a diss to Rick Ross, and nobody cared, and just like
name drop everyone in his track like he always does. But yeah, just silliness. But again, it's like wrestling. It's like you just want to hear them flex on each other and cut promos and everything and get the laugh.
So you're saying in wrestling there's people that are choosing sides and going to war with each other? Is that happening? Because there's one show that only me and you might be watching at anybody in the world right now, and there's a civil war going on in the Vasco Theater in Los Angeles, California, between women and wrestling.
What in the world is going on with WoW? Because like you said, you know what, a lot of people do watch WoW. It's like syndicated. You can watch it in the GTA area in Canada on CHCH Saturday nights at 10 p.m. I make sure it's broadcasted extra nice for you all. But it airs a lot of channels in the United States, and a lot of people do watch it. And I feel like it may attract like non-wrestling fans who are on just like, what's this on a Saturday or whatever. But for those who do watch it, we've been singing their praises. It's an hour watch. It's such an easy watch, and it's so fun and entertaining. It's like classic old school Glow with the over-the-top gimmicks, and it's been really fun and funny. And we interviewed Holly Swag on the show. We've interacted with a lot of the wrestlers. It's pretty cool. However, two of our favorite wrestlers on the show, and I say us, I mean you and me. So a great time again to have you on the show this week, because we are fans of the Tonga Twins. Yes, if you're wondering, wait a second, what do you mean the Tonga Twins? Who are they? Are they in the bloodline? Technically, kind of, maybe, sort of. We ran into them at the ECW arena in Philadelphia. They were in line, and we both went over to them, and we had to say our deuces, and we had to say what up and give them their flowers. And we both said like, hey, we love you guys, and we hope to see you down the line on some other shows, and they said, don't worry, keep watching. So we are watching Siino. And now what has happened with the Tonga twins in WoW?
So when they said keep watching, they kind of like, because they were actually rolling with the bloodline there. There was Jacob Fatu was there, Zilla Fatu was there. They were trained by the Wild Samoans, so they're definitely like involved with the whole bloodline family tree. And I guess you could tell they were disgruntled. And something happened like last week, and they just put up a statement where they were just like, yeah, we're gone, we quit. Hashtag fuck WoW. Like that was it. And then everybody's like, wait, what's going on? And then some people in WoW started to defend that to defend WoW, saying, you guys didn't quit. You actually got fired for bullying and threatening us and harassing us. And then like one by one, you would see like some WoW wrestlers that were like also quitting. I know Vicky Lynn McCoy of the Fabulous Four. She's like, I quit as well. She put the same hashtag up. And then the Tonga twins were like posting pictures of all the talent that's mysteriously like left without really saying anything the past year. I know some of them have like spoken up, but like there was a good like 10 people that have like quietly left WoW without really saying anything. And then all the people that are staying in WoW all put up like hashtag thank you WoW statements the next day. It was kind of like, you could tell it was like pre-planned, pre-programmed or whatnot. So you pretty much have like half of WoW just kind of like either silent or going against them, and the other half is defending them. So it's a civil war.
Wow. I love how when they come back from break and go to break, it literally goes, wow. Just for anyone who doesn't watch. If you're wondering, do they do that? Yeah, they do. And it's great. It's strange because, they were two of their top talents. They were the champions a little while ago. They dropped the titles. But I mean, the show, again, it's not like some of the other wrestling. It's taped like months and months in advance, heavily edited and everything like that. And some of these women aren't necessarily wrestlers. They're actors who are giving it their best and run through matches and stuff like that. But then you do have wrestlers in there who are coming with the indie background and the goals of being in the wrestling business. So it is interesting, and maybe, different egos and backgrounds of wrestling and actors, maybe that clashes. And it's too early on to kind of see what's happening, but they are now gone from WoW. They said they're going to speak on it in the future, but like I have been a big fan of them, and hopefully, they didn't do anything that really pissed some people off. And if they're cool like that, because then I do see them showing up somewhere else, because I do think they are a talent. And watching WoW from the past few months specifically, I thought they were some of the standout stuff in the show. So I could see them, it's easy to say, put them in the bloodline because they're Tongans. It's like,
I literally like fantasy booked like a couple days before they quit or released or whatever. I fantasy booked some storyline between them and Nia Jax and Naomi, all kind of like doing some sort of female bloodline. And now it could possibly happen. And they're, of course, they're posting pictures with like Jacob Fatu and the rest of the bloodline. So I think they obviously want to get signed. But if whatever these allegations are true against them, WWE might kind of like stay clear until all this is resolved. Like they might not want to get involved with them just yet.
Yeah, because I did note last week's episode, they were on it. They weren't on this one. And I wonder, they probably have taped episodes with them still on it. And I wonder if they still air that. But like last week or the week before the episode, there was a Tonga Twins match where they go to hit their finishing move, which is like the Samoan drop, like cutter G9 thing.
Yep.
And the ref for some reason just like stood in the middle of the way, and it was such a weird like botch, and you could tell they were angry. And I mean, again, this was taped so long ago, but I don't know if that has anything to do with why they were pissed or why WoW was. I don't know, but we'll see. But then all these other wrestlers, like there's a few names that you would only know if it's like you watch indies and you're kind of deep into wrestling. But again, WoW is a great watch, and it's a great place for someone to learn and get on TV, and people, seeing them and being familiar and making people a name by the time, if they do like wrestling, continue on. Because I don't know if Goldie Collins had training before WoW, but like leagues above, she is amazing. She is so good. And now what? She's in the tag team with the cat lady,
Katarina Jinx. They're in Animal Instinct. So yeah, even like the ones that, like you said, have no wrestling experience, like her or like Coach Campanelli, straight actress, you can tell like their acting is what's keeping them strong. And that works in WoW because you have a lot of backstage promos. After every match, they have a backstage promo. They have some sort of acting. So it's a really good mixture of like the independent wrestlers, like BK Rhythm is an indie wrestler called Killa Kate. And then you have these actresses like Goldie Collins. So it's a really good mixture. And then you see the ones that kind of break through from the acting and actually become like actual wrestlers. So it's a really good like starting platform for a lot of people, whether you be indie or whether you be an actress you're trying to break into the entertainment business one way or another.
So we'll see. I wonder if there'll be continued drama between certain people and the people behind WoW. Maybe the Tonga twins want to get some stuff off their chest, but we shall see. But it's basically a beef in its own. It's gonna rock the foundation of WoW to its core.
Yeah, we might not find out for a while because, like you said, there's like a whole bunch of tapings. They're still showing tapings from December because I update these every week for Cage Match. I'm like, how many freaking tapings do they have? And the next set of tapings isn't until like June or July, so it's their taping schedules like all over the place. But some wrestlers might like that. You show up for 4 days, 4 days every couple months just to do a couple of matches. Then you're free to work the indies after. So definitely a good gig.
Anything else that's going on in the world of wrestling? I swear we'll talk about NXT, as I always say, but I happened to check out some of Monday Night Raw. The King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring taking place. The finals happening at Saudi Mania in a few weeks, and then we had some tournament matches which I happened to check out, and I thought there was some good stuff on Raw, including some of the wrestling. Like, I mean, I feel like the internet wrestling community is mad that our dragon, our boy, took the L to Jey Uso, but I mean, Jey is
he's one of their top baby faces. Yeah. Like, I don't understand like why they're getting upset. And plus, like they tease Gunther and Dragon. We're gonna get it, and I'd rather get it at a bigger stage than, no offense to whoever Raw is next week. I don't want to see it on a random episode of Raw. As good as this tournament has been, I'd rather see it like on a PLE somewhere in Europe, instead of, I think either like North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, next week. So like they definitely teased it. Like, we're gonna get the match, just not now, which I think is perfectly fine. You don't have to have this big rematch in the middle of a tournament that, one of them is not going to win. So it makes sense for Jey Uso to win. He's one of the top baby faces there. Let him get the big win over Dragunov, and Dragunov stays strong. And then you have the program already set up with Gunther down the line. So why not give it to Jey?
Honestly, that makes it like it. He's going to get that reaction everywhere now, just because people want to like kind of emulate what they see on TV. And that's the whole part. When you hear chants and all these things, people want to do the entrance and the yeet and all that. So I thought that match was great, but I really liked Kofi Kingston and Gunther as well. I thought Gunther was going to really mess up Kofi's chest even worse, or fix it somehow. I'm not sure what he was going to
chop him in the back and just have him.
Kofi's got some weird like chest condition, right? Yeah. Like I was worried about those chops, but I thought that match was pretty great as well. And then I did enjoy Drew roasting Punk. I thought he had some pretty scorching lines there, which is really hyping up their inevitable match in at Clash of the Castle, which will be fantastic. And then the heartstring moment of Monday Night Raw. When I used to watch Raw religiously every week, I would hear the sweet dulcet tones of one Lillian Garcia, and boy, it almost brought a tear to my eye seeing her come out, give a great introduction to Samantha Irving, and telling her she is doing a great job here. And it tug on those heartstrings for sure.
That was amazing. I had no idea. I usually watch Raw on delay like the next day, and I didn't hear about that at all. So when I saw her in the ring, I was like totally caught off guard. I'm like, this is really cool. And like, it was like a passing of the torch moment, because you had Lillian announce Kofi, and then Samantha Irvin will come in and announce Gunther. So that was pretty cool. But like, I guess she must have either been from the area or they just invited her back. But that's something that would never be done in the old regime. Just have like that type of moment. So that's really special for her. And I'm pretty sure she's probably slated to be a future Hall of Famer if they don't already have her planned in for next year.
Yeah. I thought that, that's true. Yeah. Put her in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. But I thought it was a great little passing of the torch moment, because people always loved Lillian.
And not only that, but it's also good for Samantha, because she's been getting like a lot of flack. Like, even some like old referee, I think it was a referee. It was like, I want to say it was Brian Hebner, Earl Hebner's son, was like giving her flack for like going over the top or whatever. And it's like, she's getting too much flack when I think she's amazing. I think she's probably one of the best ring announcers in the history of wrestling. So to have somebody like Lillian come out and like kind of like give her like the okay, like this is the passing of the torch, like this is the future, respect her. So I think that was a really cool moment for Samantha.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought it. I guess like the talent now, it seems like there's some handcuffs off of what you can and can't do, and she happens to be in this time when she's allowed to do that. But I think it's really paying off. I mean, isn't it what Bruce Buffer, one of the announcers on social media, was like, "Yo,
Michael Buffer." Yeah, Michael Buffer gave her like her flowers for sure. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah,
but yeah, like you said, off the handcuffs. Like even when the Io Sky and Shayna Baszler match, like Michael Cole's talking about their history in Stardom, and it's just like this crazy to hear but it's really
yeah,
cool.
it's oh man, look, I think back to like 2010 to 2018, 19, 20, 2020, Michael Cole, just years of just monotonous tones and talking, so annoying, just want to punch him, and then had one of the worst WrestleMania matches of all time, and I'm still angry about it. To just have a complete 180, like every time I hear him, he sells things so good. He's got the facts, he's fact checking everything. Him and Pat are a good team because Pat's so like goofy and fun and loud, and then you got Michael Cole, who's just really like having this resurgence. I think he really sells things. He's the voice of the modern day WWE, and I hope he's not hanging it up anytime soon because he is someone who's just really shining lately.
Yeah, absolutely. And he got a lot of flack because of the things he said, but it was the man in the ear that was pretty much telling him to say all these things. So now that he's like finally getting to be free, it's like people are finally respecting him. And I feel like he deserves it. He's been there since freaking how long now? Since 1997, 98. So he definitely deserves like all the respect that he's getting now.
So what about this King of the Ring tournament? So Jay is going to face Gunther next week on Raw.
Yep.
And then what? The winner of that faces...
So the winner of the... Let me see. So I'm pulling up the SmackDown side. So on that side, we still have Randy Orton versus Carmelo and LA Knight versus Tama Tonga. So I'm going to guess Orton is... So Orton... I don't know if he's going to take the loss to Carmelo, but I can see LA Knight going to the finals against Gunther. That's going to be my prediction. Gunther and LA Knight. Yeah, and then Gunther would go over.
Damn, okay. We were thinking of doing a best match ever King of the Ring. We were trying to think of like some of the best, but not too many come to mind. I think of Austin beating Jake the Snake with the promo and everything. I think of RVD and Brock. Was Kurt and Shane was at the King of the Ring, right?
It was at the King of the Ring, but it wasn't a tournament. Yeah. It wasn't a King of the Ring match. So
yeah, I don't know if
this is the first like King of the Ring I probably in a while that's actually had like match of the year contenders. I mean, nothing here is really amazing, but these are some really good matches compared to like the rest of the King of the Ring over the years.
I mean, WWE in-ring stuff has been really good lately. I mean, I think back to AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes just like a week or so ago. I thought that was pretty good. But Ilya versus Ricochet was also good. But Ilya versus Javon Evans from NXT also was a banger. So the in-ring quality is definitely stepped up, I feel as well. So that's something I'm noticing. Just everything's kind of changing, and it's for the better for sure. Kind of switching away from WWE just a little bit. I know Davie went to Collision in Vancouver, which it seemed like the crowd were pretty excited for some wrestling. So I hope they do more shows in Vancouver. Did that guy with the WrestleMania sign show up? I'm sure he was there, but maybe he didn't have that Vancouver WrestleMania sign as he always has. But I thought it was crazy seeing the Dynamite Kid Jr., Billington Jr. here versus Dax in Canada. And I thought he didn't look too half bad either. So this was just a weird, like, wow. Okay, sorry. Dynamite Kid's kid
nephew
is fighting
Dynamite Kid's nephew.
Sorry, Dynamite Kid's nephew is facing Bret Hart's nephew, Dax the Axe. So in Canada. So actually, I thought that was pretty cool. And I know everyone's gonna jump on and say like sign him right away, but the best thing this dude should do is like go travel and like wrestle in Japan and stuff. Because if you sign to AEW, you'll just be not getting better in Ring of Honor like a lot of the other guys right now.
Yeah, it's weird. Like the little that I saw of him was actually him and his brother Mark, who did like a couple of matches for MLW like early last year, and they even were like announced to be signed and everything, and then they just kind of disappeared. And then like I don't know what happened to Mark, but he hasn't really been wrestling since last year. And Tommy's been kind of doing his own thing in the indies this first half of the year. So I'm not sure what's happening with that tag team, but now he's kind of because before they were the Billington Bulldogs, but now he's kind of alone getting the Dynamite Kid gimmick on his own. So maybe something happened and he kind of split apart from his brother and doing his own solo thing, which I think is okay because his brother was a lot younger and a lot smaller. And I think he didn't really fit how Tommy would. So if Tommy's going to pursue a solo career, yeah, go for it. Yeah, like you, he doesn't need to sign anywhere. Just go out there and work Japan, work Mexico, work the Indies, get yourself up there to a real like recognizable name. In a year from now, that contract will be a lot more better for you, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I was impressed. I thought that was a pretty good match. I thought Kyle and Angry Adam, as Excalibur did call him that on commentary, or was it Nigel? And cool Kyle putting on a Canadian classic over there as well. Which it was a pretty fun show. But I've been liking some of the stuff they've been doing. I just feel like the pay-per-view, the night, like the pay-per-views are always good, but I feel like they're Wednesday night shows, which we're recording right now at Tuesday. I'm getting, it's a tougher watch each week. Like it's feeling each time is a bit of a slog, and we're each week. It used to be like my cannot miss TV, where I'm like, I'll catch it Thursday. It's slowly, and that's when you know the interest level, and it slowly becomes less like, well, do I need to watch it this week? And I hope it can pick back up. But the wrestling again has been fantastic. Like the in-ring stuff particularly has been top notch. So definitely still looking forward to that pay-per-view in a few weeks.
Double or Nothing is coming like 2 weeks. Yeah, on the 26th.
Yeah. There you go. So we'll definitely be watching that and chatting about it. Anything else before NXT? I know I saw Johnny Knoxville was at Sami Zayn's Netflix is a Joke stand-up special, which just sounds awesome. Sami Zayn working some comedy, but Knoxville was in a disguise in the crowd and then went up on stage and did a whole bit, which led to Wee Man coming out and kicking him in the nuts. So definitely, or punch him in the nuts. Check out that video because I thought it was pretty funny and gave me flashbacks to Match of the Year just a year or two ago. That classic. But
I'm sure they're gonna do something again. I mean, whether it be a tag match or whatnot, or just like a spot in the ring. I'm sure they're gonna bring Knoxville back for something. You would think.
Like I know they're keeping the kayfabe rivalry alive, but the people need to see them together as a tag team working together with, I think Steve-O was the only one who didn't show up at WrestleMania. I'm still waiting for that. We don't need Bam. I'm sorry, Bam, but we don't need Steve-O though. We can do that. Yeah. And then lastly, I did catch up on X-Men 97. Now tell me, is that it right now?
There's one more episode, and it comes out in a couple of hours because a Wednesday morning is the last episode of the season. Yeah. So.
Oh man. Okay. Like I've watched a lot of X-Men and specifically that show, the animated show back when I was a kid, but the finish to the end angle involving Magneto and Wolverine was shocking.
Yeah.
My girlfriend screamed and was like, please tell me that wasn't the last one. And I was under the impression that was the season finale. So I was like, yeah, it's done. And now you're telling me that there's one more. So I better lay the good news on it. Cause that was a pretty crazy. I love this show so much. It's bringing back like so much nostalgia. So wouldn't recommend it.
Tomorrow morning is one of those mornings where I don't even look at my phone. I just like turn it off and just put the episode on first thing in the morning because I don't want to get anything spoiled.
Yeah.
I feel like something big is going to happen. So you've been enjoying that, but how would you feel about watching a live action Spider-Man noir show starring Nicolas Cage?
Oh, is this real?
It's real.
It was
rumored for a while, but it was officially announced today. I think it's coming to like MGM Plus or something. It's like, it's not Amazon Prime, but it's some other streaming service. But yeah, it's a live action based on the Into the Spider-Verse version of Spider-Man Noir that he did voice, but it's a live action version set in the I forgot what era it's in.
Yeah, it says like Prime, Amazon Prime.
Is it on Amazon Prime? Okay. So
holy shit.
Live action Nicolas Cage. So I enjoyed his voice as Spider-Man Noir. So I'm not sure how he's going to transition to live action, but I'll definitely be watching. It might be in the same universe as Madam Web and Morbius and all that, but you can't sway me too far away if you say Nicolas Cage is going to be in this.
Madam Web is now on Netflix, I believe. So if you haven't watched this movie, you saw it in theaters, didn't you?
I did see it in theaters. Yeah, me and my son, we went to it and had like a live roasting session while we watched it. So it was definitely an experience.
I'll tell you, like everyone is like, oh, it looks so bad. Like Eric, we both volunteered ourselves to watch Madame Web, but he says Morbius is way worse, and I've still not seen that. But Madame Web is genuinely belly laughing fun.
See, that's the thing though. So like at least Madam Web was fun, right? Morbius is just straight boring. Like nothing in that movie was entertaining to me. It just felt like a slog. Madam Web, you're literally laughing for all the wrong reasons. So that made it fun to me, at least. When I watch it again, I don't know. Maybe if you guys review it, I'll go back and watch it again. But I don't think I'd force myself to sit down and watch it at home.
I definitely would watch a Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man in the 1930s or 20s or whatever it is.
Muggin said it's a 1930s Spider-Man.
That's crazy.
And Lord and Miller, who are the guys that worked on the Into the Spider-Verse, are the executive producers on it. So it does have a chance of being really good.
That sounds fantastic. I definitely need to see that. I need to catch up. I need to see the new Apes movie in the next week or so. I need to. I haven't seen the last Kong Godzilla either. I'm a little behind.
It came out on streaming today. Godzilla.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure where it's streaming, but I saw it pop up on demand. So you should be able. That's probably going to be on some streaming service soon. Probably Max, I want to say.
But -1 is on all the streaming now.
So is -1, yeah.
-1 though. I don't think anything will ever touch that one. It's just so.
Well, that's the thing. You can't go into Godzilla and Kong and expect -1.
Yeah.
It's like totally like a different scope. It's the Hollywood version of it. It's a fun over the top movie, but I enjoyed it as well for what it was.
Well, if you like over the top movies, you can check out patreon.com/Poisonrana because Davie and I review lots of wacky and fun movies. And I'm not sure if anyone else out there is like us, but we're celebrating Archaeology Week here at Poisonrana and upNXT. And you may ask yourself, what is Archaeology Week? And you also may ask yourself, is Archaeology Week even real? The answer is no, it's not. It's something we made up just because we pre-banked a show because Davey's away this week, and we have an Up Yours with our friend Mahmoud, who picked Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And we are going to chat all about this throwback with Indiana Jones and his dad, James Bond, fighting Nazis and snakes and all sorts of fun stuff. So we're going to chat about that and the Holy Grail. And then already out on the Patreon is Scrump and I chatting all about the 25th anniversary of Brendan Fraser in The Mummy. And I've already got some messages. Thank you, everyone, for enjoying and laughing at our review of The Renaissance in full swing. So if you are fans of archaeology, these are 2 movies about digging and treasure and all sorts of things. Oh, and I guess zombies, like there's that like zombie at the end of Last Crusade. And there's.
Do you want to hear something really funny? It's going to blow your mind.
Okay, tell me.
So the National Archaeology Week is actually starting this Sunday.
You're fucking lying.
I just looked it up because I was like curious. I'm like, there must be an actual archaeology week, and the National Archaeology Week is from May 19th to the 25th of May, 2024. So it's a third week of May. So you guys literally, without realizing it, you are celebrating.
Wait a second. It's legit Archaeology Week?
Archaeology Week, yeah.
Oh, man.
Next week, yeah.
I swear to God, we did not know. We just went, why? I literally went, why am I watching all these movies about like, you know, adventures and digging and like, you know, whatever. And he's like, it's Archaeology Week. Fuck it. All right, cool. Wow. I didn't realize it's an actual week. So I stand corrected. Thank you, Siino. This is why you're our executive producer, making sure. Maybe we did it all along. It was a plan. We were rusing it. We actually didn't. That's pretty funny. But I can't wait for Shark Week. So
that's coming up pretty soon. That's in the summertime.
I love all different weeks too. Hit us with your best weeks. I've realized that The Mummy turning 25 in 1999 means a whole bunch of great movies are turning 25 from 1999. So we might have to do a few more this year because there's some good ones.
Oh, The Phantom Menace is in theaters and it did really well in the box office. It was like number 2 last week, and they just re-released that. So
yeah, Disney said it's their number 1 streamed movie.
That's crazy.
Why is The Phantom Menace like Moana's on Disney Plus, bro? Like what? Why isn't like who's watching?
It's that nostalgia bug. I mean, you know, like my son's interested in it. He hasn't watched those versions of Star Wars, but he might be interested in it just because of all the hype that's going on. So
wow. Excellent. Shout out to Phantom Menace. There you go. Well, yes, patreon.com/Poisonrana, $5 a month to get all these shows. So go support your boys and check it out. And I swear, last plug, chop-tees.com/Poisonrana. You can get some swifty looking snapbacks for the summer. We got the frog on the front on the snapback. We got side plates, bro. We're cooking with these snapback hats at chop-tees. Shout out Dickie Bird and shout out the What Up Doe merch as well on the page. So check out all that and support your small time podcasters. And that's how you can do it, by wearing some of our sweet merch. And stay tuned as well, because we got some new spring stuff launching.
Oh yeah. I've gotten a sneak peek at some of the things that are coming out, and you guys are going to be really, really impressed. So start saving your money now, because there's some really cool things coming out on the horizon.
I already feel like a mark for myself, because I have different variations of my own merch and I just wear it all the time, because it's like self-branding, right? I got to monetize the frog, but so many people love the frog design on the hat. So you can get your own at Chop
Yeah, I personally can't, like, the one things I haven't purchased is the shot in the dark stuff because it has like my silhouette in it, and I feel really awkward walking around with a hat. I know you wear it, and I thank you.
I wear it, and someone thought it was me. They're like, "Is that you on it?"
I just personally can't do it. So in my honor, everybody, please support and buy shot in the dark merch. But the what up though, I've been rocking the hoodie and the new green shirt with the new logo that my friend Rob designed is amazing. If you guys haven't seen it already, and yeah, like I said, stay tuned. There might be some more stuff with that particular logo coming out soon.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you everyone who has bought. I just saw someone just bought, I think it was a hat the other day. So appreciate you and appreciate everyone. Go check it out, chop-tees.com. But now we can chat about some NXT that happened. I swear they're taping next week's right now, actually.
They are. I confirmed. I'm guessing it's because they're going to Saudi. So like is it next week they're going to Saudi? So
right.
Maybe that's the reason why that, they need to bring some stuff over there, whatever the case is. But it tends to happen whenever there's a big PLE happening. They kind of bank them back to back.
Well, there's also Battleground is June 9th. So that's in a few weeks still. We still got some time for that. We will be doing a post show live after Battleground for anyone wondering. So just keep that in mind. But let's chat about some NXT from May 14th, 2004. 2004. Oh boy. 2024. Imagine NXT 2004. It's just the SmackDown 6 or something.
Pretty much.
We start off and it says moments ago, Noam Dar, we see in the back, is on the ground screaming in agony. He's got all these metal pipes laying around him and Metaphor checking on him. And they say, "Oh, someone attacked me. Who was it?" And he says, "Oh, it must have been Trick." And Lash says, "No, it wouldn't have been Trick. It couldn't have been." And basically, they're not sure if he's going to wrestle tonight against Javon Evans. But it's a bit of an angle for the opening of NXT. But it's another whodunit. Who took out Noam Dar? We'll find out.
At least it's one that gets resolved within the 2 hours of the show. So it's not something that they hold off for too long.
We get a recap of the Combine Harvester from last week. And it's showing all the different women doing some crazy skills that we chatted about last week. And we got some qualifying matches tonight to enter the North American Championship ladder match at NXT Battleground, where we will find the new and first North American champion. So we're going to find out some of the people that will be in that match. But we see Kiana James and Izzi Dame, and they're talking backstage, and Kiana's like, "Drinks next week?" And Izzy's like, "Oh yeah, of course, you know it." And Kiana says, "Even though I'm on Raw, you run NXT and I'll run Raw." And Izzy says, "Thanks for teaching me everything." I feel like they haven't been together that long, but thanks for teaching me everything.
Yeah, they're only around together for a couple weeks or so. And Kiana, like, since she got drafted, she just appeared on Raw like yesterday. Yeah. And like she's like, it seems like she's doing some sort of backstage role, like assistant to Adam Pearce. Like she hasn't been wrestling yet. So yeah.
Her gimmick is business. What kind of business? Business.
That's
what it is. We see Sol Ruca backstage. We get one of the cool camera shots here following her, kind of tracking. I guess she's following the camera, really. And she goes, "Did you see the Combine? I was number 1. So I'm going to ride that wave and I will climb that ladder to become the first women's North American champion." And then she tells the cameraman to back up. And then she goes on her hands and she walks out on her hands for her entrance, as it's Sol Ruca taking on Izzi Dame for the qualifying match here. But I love me some Sol Ruca hand walking entrances here. I love when she does that. I don't know how anyone could do that.
I got so worried at one point. She was like really close to like the curtain. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna freaking bust her ass. Like I really thought she was going to, this live, right? So yeah, luckily she didn't. She was able to do it the whole time, and good for her. And it should be noted that we have returning to NXT as the ring announcer here, Mike Rome, because one Alicia Taylor has been promoted to SmackDown. So a little bit of a rearranging for the draft as far as the commentary goes as well.
Later in the show, I think it's the main event when Mike Rome, is it Rome or Rhone?
Rome, like Italy, Rome.
Like Rome, if you want to. Okay, got you. So when he was doing the intros for the main event, Booker was like, "Look at this guy. He looks so grumpy. Look at him." He was just ribbing Mike Rome. I was dying laughing at that. But Sol Ruca taking on Izzi Dame. Early on, Izzy tries to go for something. It didn't quite connect or get all of it, as Booker would say. But Izzy goes out to the outside afterwards, and eventually Sol does this like handstand on the apron to duck a strike, and then does a run up the post moonsault to the outside. They then start fighting around to the commentary desk and they start brawling onto the table when Izzi kind of slams Soul into it, and they go back in the ring when Vic Joseph's having issues on commentary, saying that the monitor just exploded back in front of him, so he can't really hear or see. Izzi hits a flapjack for a near fall, and then this backdrop, but Soul goes to like land on her feet, but she didn't quite. She like lands on her feet and then kind of does a tumble, and I got a little worried. Again, she just came back from surgery on her leg. She's wearing this knee brace, but she gets back up. Eventually there's a backdrop countered onto her feet again, and she eats a boot from Izzi for a near fall. And then Izzi tries to throw her into the turnbuckle, but as she runs right at her, Soul jumps up, and I still don't know how she does it, but hits the Soul Snatcher for the 1, 2, 3. Soul Ruca qualifies for the ladder match at Battleground. But what did you think of this match?
Yeah, there was definitely some like sloppy and scary spots, but like it kind of worked in this match in a way because like, they're two fairly, this is developmental, right? So everything shouldn't be smooth and perfect. But there were some spots that like I honestly could not tell if it was like slip ups or they just like planned it that way. Like the one slip up I would say with the back body drop, like she did look like she was having a little trouble there, kind of landing on her feet, and she kind of stumbled a little bit, but she was able to get up from that. But like some of like the spots on the outside, like on the apron spots and whatnot, like kind of falling on their face. I'm like, ooh, that looked like that might have actually hurt. So, yeah. But I feel like it kind of worked in this way in this match. The fact that these are two fairly new people that have a lot of work to do, but it actually worked in their favor, like I said. And just that variation of the Soul Snatcher, the way it was like a head scissors into the Soul Snatcher, I don't think we've seen that version before. So I like how
she has like all these versions. Yeah,
that's like my favorite part is like this is the type of move, and she has the capability of like doing so many different varieties of them. So I absolutely love it and keep bringing it.
I love Soul Ruca. I didn't see too much of it out of Izzi. We still haven't seen I don't think it was necessarily Soul's best match, but she was still able to hit that move, which is very impressive. So I think obviously the right person wins. I think it might be too obvious to have her win because you had Vic on commentary basically like, imagine her doing these crazy moves in the ladder match, and Booker's like, I don't care.
Oh, so we're gonna get some crazy Soul Snatcher from the ladders for sure.
Absolutely, for sure. But yeah, love me some Soul Ruca. So she's going into the match. We see Tony D and the family talking to Ava, the GM, and she's angry at them for what happened last week. To recap, they basically made a referee disappear and then made Stacks the ref. And Ava's a little upset, and they go, well, what's wrong? And she goes, no, what happened to my ref? He goes, he got bronchitis.
The bad case of bronchitis. Yeah, this is hilarious.
So she's like, yeah, okay, what about Damon and Miles? We don't know. Wherever they wanted to go, that's where they are. And she goes, yeah, well, I might just take away your shot at the cup tonight. And he goes, yeah, you can't take that away. Like, it's already been advertised. That's just bad booking. And
that's like the one line that like Luca Cristofino, the lawyer, had to chime in because he's like, it's advertised. You can't change the match. I'm like, dude, the lawyer. Have you watched wrestling? Every week there's an advertised match that changes.
Card subject to change is always on every wrestling show ever because that's just how it works. But she's like, yeah, well, I could take it away. And then she goes, but instead I'm going to fine you. I'm going to fine you $20,000 for what you did last week. And then without a blink of an eye, Rizzo pulls out of her back pocket a very hefty looking envelope and hands it to Tony. He hands it to Ava and says, here you go. 20,000, no problem. In fact, there's a little extra in there for you. Maybe you can, do something about your office. It needs a little something. And as they walk out, Rizzo goes, yeah, I know an interior decorator.
This is hilarious. This is like over the top goofy. This is like a Mad TV parody of what the Sopranos would be, right? But I thought the Mad
Sopranos skit is legendary. I don't know if you've ever seen that one. The PG versions of Sopranos is Mad TV. It's great. But yeah, I like the Sopranos references. I love my favorite Italian mobster wrestlers on NXT. This was pretty funny. I did laugh.
I thought it was hilarious when she just pulled out the envelope out of nowhere. They just happen to have the money and a little extras. That he's like, spruce up this joint a little bit, like just
because her office looks pretty bare bones. Like, come on, pick your stuff up. But also, these guys actually explaining that they didn't murder someone. They just took them for a drive around the block. Sometimes you bring them back, sometimes you don't.
And I like how Stacks does like the typical, like when you ask a mobster what's going on, I was like, I don't know where they are. They're wherever they want to go.
I don't know nothing about no one. We go to Edris and Malik backstage. They're getting ready for a match. Edris is looking a little nervous, and Malik asks him, "Are you ready?" And Edris is rubbing a rabbit's foot. And he says it's because we have bad luck and we need good luck to win our match tonight. When Brinley Reece comes in and goes, "Is that a rabbit's foot?" She grabs it, throws it away, and says, "We don't need that. That's bad luck. We don't have bad luck. We just need to focus on wrestling and winning this match." So they walk out, and Edris is kind of like, "Where did that rabbit's foot go?" So the bad luck gimmick continuing here. Luck is for losers. Edris, come on. Didn't Punk teach you guys anything?
I honestly had no idea what he was holding at first.
Me too.
I'm like, is that like his finger, like in a cast? That
Yeah, what was he doing?
I had no idea what he was rubbing until it wasn't until Brinley Reece mentioned it's a rabbit's foot. I'm like, oh, that's what it is. Okay, and I forgot that like they're doing a whole, there's a black black cat on one episode, and then the mirror breaking. So they're doing all the stereotypical like bad luck thing. He has to obviously walk under a ladder one of these weeks, right?
Yes, I think we were discussing walking under a ladder as bad luck, stepping on a crack.
Yeah.
Break your mother's back. Shout out all the moms, grandmoms,
yes,
pops, dads, granddads, all the Mother's Day from last weekend. But yeah, I was a little. What other bad luck? Is there anything to you that's bad luck in your Italian background?
I feel like you spill salt, right? Isn't that like a bad luck thing? If you spill salt, so they can definitely do that. The ladder thing for sure. Yeah, I can't think of anything else top of my head. No, there's no real like Italian. There's no we don't believe in rabbit's foot. We actually eat rabbit on Easter. I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry to break everybody's heart, but that's
delicious.
A delicacy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Rabbit's delicious. Sometimes it's good. So they are getting ready for their match. Where do we go here? We see more talking. We got Shayna Baszler with Lola Vice being interviewed. And Shayna says, "I hope Ava is watching tonight." And she says, "I hope Ava was watching like the week before and the week after that, because she's here in NXT and that NXT women's title is looking a little interesting." And Lola says, "Yeah, and I'll be the next champ." Excuse me. And then Shayna kind of gives her a face like, "You'll be the next champ. Wait, I kind of want to be the champ." And then they are attacked by a flying Carmen Petrovic, as we assume. And then it's all huge, big out brawl. There's all these women fighting each other backstage and screaming and hair pulling, and it's a big pull apart. So this will lead to a match later. But yes, Shayna for NXT champ or Lola for NXT champ?
Yeah, I was a little confused because they were like, "Oh, we're here to see like Roxanne's next challenger," and I feel like I saw a graphic somewhere that was going to explain that. But I'm guessing maybe because of the double taping, maybe they're going to be doing that on the next episode to figure out, because she doesn't have an opponent for Battleground just yet, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what they said that they were there for. And then like during all this scuffle, somebody got punched right in the face. And I honestly did not know who it was because there were so many people there. And I'm glad that we were able to find out later on who it was, because that would have been the one instance where I'm like, I couldn't even tell who that was back there.
I thought it was Carmen because of the blonde hair. I just assumed because of the angle and everything. But yeah, a lot going on in that I didn't really catch, but we'll get to.
Really quick, they did show a trailer also for the new DLC that comes out tomorrow for 2K24, the ECW Punk Pack. With Terry Funk, the Dudley Boys, CM Punk, and the Sandman. And Frank has been like updating us with some of the features that come with the Sandman. So they added light tubes that you can use in the game. And then there's also a feature, if you have the blood on, you can actually bleed before you start the match by smashing, which is amazing. So I'm definitely playing as a Sandman tomorrow.
Yeah, I heard you can also do the White Russian leg sweep.
That's amazing.
So, I don't even know if Davie and I have 2K24. We have last year's, but I have played it at my buddy's house, and I really can't wait to play as some of these characters. Terry Funk, Sandman, hell yeah, absolutely. This is sick. And you don't have to play one of the old games to do it. This is pretty cool. So we go to OTM. Taking on Edris and Malik. Jada in the corner of OTM and Brinley in the corner of Edris and Malik. We start with Edris with this sweet looking, almost like inverted sling blade bulldog for a near fall. Booker T on commentary is mentioning that OTM have their valet. Malik and Edris have their valet. And as James Brown once said, it's a man's world, but we would be nothing without a woman. So that's why, they're helping their teams. I thought that was good. Good song.
And it should be noted, no more scripts. So he's still under contract, but I guess they're deciding to not use them because I think his contract expires on June 1st, but he's already like written off. Like they didn't explain why he's not there, but he's just not with OTM anymore.
Right. Yeah. Right. Long live scripts. Never forget. There's a double team attempt and it's blocked by Malik and Edris. They start doing 10 punches in the corner. There's then they send both of them to the outside and then there's double topes. And then Malik just on this, like, I feel like, is it, I forget who's who. I think it's Lucy, and man, he was like nowhere near him. And somehow Malik still landed or didn't land. I don't know how, but it
just like his foot just hit him. But yeah, he barely got him.
It could have been really bad for him, but he somehow got up like nothing. Jada and Brinley now are brawling apart. It's another pull apart in the ring. Lucy and Price hits this STO for a near fall. It looked really nice. There's then a like tag where Blade hits him crossbodies onto both of them, but then Booker and Vic start to mention that his boot has become loose. And as he goes for a tope, he realizes his boot's about to fall off, so he can't really do that. Meanwhile, Booker T is talking about getting new boots from Mexico. And then he turns around and gets hit with this double team from OTM, which is like a double assist Alabama slam. And I mean, this looked like they fucking killed him with this move. I love me a good Alabama slam, and I'm so happy it's kind of on a comeback. You've seen a lot more people do the Alabama slam, but having an assist on it looked Alabama damn, because this looked great. But OTM win the match here, and Booker T is still talking about how he gets a good deal on his boots in Mexico or something. So I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. I feel like he got way off the beaten path of what they were what Vic was trying to get him to say.
The beginning of the match, he was going off about how like before his matches he would always have an energy drink, like that was his tradition.
Yeah,
and then like Vic like kind of went into like a C4 energy drinks like ad by him mentioning that. But like when the whole thing happened with the boot, I thought it was legit. Like his boot was actually like coming apart. I had no idea. I'm like, is this a thing? Is this like a bad luck thing when your shoe starts breaking? Like I couldn't really understand that. So, but you know, that was obviously the whole ploy of the match was that they were going to lose because of this boot. But like, it didn't click for me that this is actually legit, his boot. Not legit, but it's actually like part of the story of his boot coming off. But yeah, with Booker was going off about the Mexican boots and whatnot. But yeah, that spine buster was vicious.
Yeah, it looked great. I mean, Booker was somewhat trying to talk about the gear, and he's basically saying like, oh, he needs to get better, blah, blah, blah. I think it was just like, you could have just played it off like, oh, his shoe became untied, which then it helped the boot fall off or whatever. But I didn't notice it until they started bringing it up. And then I was like, oh, and then it was very apparent with the angle at the end. So the match was fine. I loved the finish, but I loved that like angle going forward. Kind of funny. I like Malik and Edris. Like, I think they're good wrestlers. So at least they got something to get them on TV every week. So
and they did a good job of building to Brinley and Jada, which is going to take place next week. That's going to be one of the qualifying matches for the North American title.
Yeah, so it kind of has a bit of everything going on and a reason for those two fighting. We see the Metaphor backstage. They're nervous that Noam Dar might not be able to compete, and he says that he won't. So Ora Mensah says that he will step in and take his place. And this is where, like, I think Lash was like, I can't do this right now. I got to focus. I have my match coming up. So she kind of leaves, but Ora says, don't worry, I got this. So it'll be Ora versus Javon later tonight.
Lash Legend was rocking the sweet purple and yellow WCW retro jacket, which I thought was fantastic.
This one was fire. This is a chalk line?
I think so. It looks like a chalk line jacket.
Man. Yeah, that one was sick. It looked good. We get the new WrestleMania. I was just getting over the WrestleMania commercial for Philly. And now we have the Triple H WrestleMania Vegas commercial. So, Siino, are you ready?
Well, at least this is Travis Scott and not The Weeknd. I mean, for now, at least we're getting a different artist. Well, I'm not sure it's going to stick by the time we get to WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure The Weeknd's going to somehow get the theme next year anyway. But yeah, I'm ready for Vegas. And I was reading a couple things today about how I guess all the non-Mania shows are going to be at one of the MGM resorts, which is kind of disappointing because I was hoping something was going to be in the Sphere. I need to go see the Sphere.
We need the Sphere. We need NXT in the Sphere. It's going to end up being, they said nothing will be happening in the Sphere at this point, but we need Undertaker One Dead Man Show in the Sphere.
In the Sphere? Or GCW in the Sphere?
GCW in the Sphere? Yeah. Do they even have Titantrons?
No.
Do they even have graphics?
I don't think so.
I mean, I bless them. I love them. That I want to see GCW at that like nerd bar on Fremont Street. That's where I would love to go to some of the like we had a blast at DDT GCW last month in Philly for Mania weekend, and like they'll do something crazy with Santana. Run it back, Santana Jackson versus Joey Janela one more time.
You're right. Santana might be crowned GCW champion there, but
exactly.
Back to the Sphere. I'm sure. I really hope that they could do something there. Even like the Hall of Fame would be kind of cool there with all the screens there and just showing like the highlights of the wrestlers or whatever.
Yeah.
If they can't like do a wrestling show per se and they want to separate the Hall of Fame from SmackDown, just do the Hall of Fame there.
Honestly, that would be pretty cool. Like seeing the giant sphere of highlighting people's careers and stuff like that would be pretty cool. I don't know what you would do with wrestling. Like when they do UFC there, like what can they do to make it so special other than it's just a giant sphere? I'm sure they will think of something because it's pretty impressive, but we want to see WWE do a show in the sphere. So NXT, let's go.
I'm pretty sure like Tony Khan is probably racing to try to get it done before WWE. But some wrestling company is going to do it within the next year or so.
Well, yeah, Tony Khan will just try to do like All In on the moon or something, right? Yeah. Try to beat them at that.
You going?
Yeah, to the moon. That sounds a little cheesy for me.
Got to do a moonsault on the moon? Come on.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. Shooting star press to the moon. Oh, man, I miss him. Let's go to Axiom and Frazier backstage. Everyone's just backstage tonight. Not a lot of people doing stuff, but everyone's just hanging out backstage. They're chatting with Ridge Holland and love the turtleneck and blazer combo from Axiom. And they're talking to Ridge like, Ridge, we love you. You're such a good guy, this Ridge Holland. When the Good Brothers come in and they do some riffing here about how they hate these main roster superstars coming down from SmackDown to NXT. So why don't you go back to SmackDown, Ridge? As they start bugging him and joking that. I thought that was pretty good. And he goes like, no, like, you don't say that to me. And they start calling him the Angry Brother. Yes, the Good Brothers calling Ridge Holland the Angry Brother. And they say, yeah, well, why don't we send you packing from NXT? Why don't you face us tonight? Oh, that's right. You don't have any friends because you're angry and you don't have anyone. So why don't you find a brother and face us tonight? So that match is happening. Very excited about it.
I'm kind of enjoying this new OC gimmick where they're just like these guys just hang around the Performance Center and pretend like they've been there the whole time and they just get mad at everybody else that's not supposed to be there. Like, Ridge, what are you doing here? Go back to the main roster. It's like, you guys aren't supposed to be here either, but that's a joke, obviously. But I like how they're kind of going with it. It's kind of funny.
They need to stretch it now to where like they start talking about like the draft. It was too bad because it would have been funny like them sitting like with their fingers crossed, like,
hoping to get
guys,
drafted.
This is it. We're gonna get that main roster money.
They might, you know what? They might be here the entire year, and then for next year's draft, they finally get drafted back up.
Please, no. We go to Ivy Nile versus Lash Legend, another qualifying match for NXT Battleground ladder match. Right away, Lash runs at Ivy with this running elbow and tries to pin her really quickly, but Ivy kicks out. Lash is now attacking the arm and the back. She's hitting her with these slams on the outside onto the apron. It looked like Ivy really took a strike into the side of the ring, which looked like it hurt.
Her elbow like fell straight hardest side of the ring, right? I got really worried there. I'm like, ooh, is that supposed to drop like that? Because that elbow could have shattered easily.
Yeah, she continues the match though. She comes back in the ring with this huge spin kick and then a head scissors. And then Booker T is talking about ladder matches and how the winner of this will qualify, and that a ladder match will take years and it will take pieces of you when you compete in them. And Vic Joseph goes, hey, Book, you've only been in one. The Money in the Bank. And it made me think, whoa, has Booker T only ever been in one ladder match? Now, Siino, you work for Cage Match, the website. What's the truth on this?
So as soon as you asked me, I had to do a little bit of research. And as far as a traditional, I mean, you can't even call Money in the Bank traditional, but as far as WWE, yes, that is the only ladder match he ever had. Now, there was a match at TNA Bound for Glory 2009, the Full Metal Mayhem double ladder four-way match between Team 3D, British Invasion, Beer Money Inc., and Booker and Scott Steiner, where that was technically a ladder match as well. But...
What do you mean? Okay, hold on. You saying TNA and technically a ladder match? This wasn't one of their fucking King of the Mountain reverse ladder matches, right?
I don't think so. I think Full Metal Mayhem is actual like ladders. And if you need to climb the ladder to win the match, it's a ladder match in my eyes. So that is a ladder match. So maybe Vic just meant in WWE.
Yeah. Okay. So he's had one WWE ladder match and one in TNA. Does the WCW like triple cage ladder match count?
No,
wasn't he in one of those? Or was that
probably,
just
but
ready to
that
rumble?
was just ladders and cages. I don't think they would even consider that.
Okay. All right. Fair. So Booker's legit been in 2 ladder matches in his career, one in TNA and one because if he was in a King of the Mountain match, we wouldn't count that as a ladder match. That's the stupidest gimmick ever. But Booker, maybe he's right. He's like, yeah, that's why I haven't been in many because I ain't fucking jumping off ladders. You dumb? That's what he made it sound like when Vic brought that up. He's like, yeah, why do you think that? So I wonder if that's a thing where he's like, I am not climbing ladders. I wrestle, but I don't climb ladders. Anyways, back to the match. Ivy and Lash Legend are continuing fighting here, and they start climbing up on the top rope when Ivy's getting the best of her, but Lash counters and on the top rope attempts for her slam dunk choke bomb off the top, but as she goes to do it, it's countered into this crazy avalanche bulldog from Ivy for a 2 count. Somehow Lash kicked out, but I thought this was pretty sweet. Eventually, there's the dragon sleeper from Ivy, but Jackson sweeps the leg. She's ringside with her lollipop and sweeps the leg of her, allowing Lash to hit the big boot for the 1, 2, 3. I kind of wanted to see the slam dunk, though. I do.
Yeah, I got a little worried when they're on the top rope. I'm like, ooh, how are they gonna get out of this? I thought she was actually gonna hit the slam dunk. But the way it like transitioned to the bulldog, it was done in a way so smoothly that like I didn't expect it. So that was really well done. The match was okay. The only thing I didn't really like was Jakara grabbing the leg. It felt like she might have missed her cue because she like I think Ivy had to kind of like scooch over a little bit to her, and she didn't even grab it. She like barely like touched the booth, and somehow that distracted her from breaking up the dragon sleeper. But it was fine. I mean, the right person won here in Lash Legend. The only thing I don't understand is why is Ivy Nile here? Like she got drafted to Raw. They never explained why she was even eligible for the combine. Like obviously she went to the performance center, but like why is she even part of this? Do they just need bodies? And just say that. You know, we brought people down because we need more people. But like why was she even qualified to be in the combine and be in the top 12 or whatever? So that aside, the match was fine. It was short. But the right person won here in Legend.
Yeah, absolutely. Like she's another one who could be elevated from winning this title. So far, it's Soul and Lash, but I thought there was some good stuff in this. Again, that spot on the apron looked like it could have been nasty for Ivy, but Lash is growing on me for sure. But there was some rough stuff in it, but that spot off the top was nice as well. So
it's funny because obviously she's dating Trick Williams, and I feel like both Lash Legend and Trick, when they both started, they both kind of got the same flack. Like they're kind of like, we don't know how we feel about these people. They might not last here. And Trick has obviously turned it around, and Lash is slowly getting there. And with the person that she's with, you always help your partner out. You see how Ludwig Kaiser has probably helped out Tiffany Stratton a ton, right? So who knows? Maybe Lash Legend is learning something from old Tricky there, and she's definitely impressing me lately.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to see so she didn't hit the slam dunk at all in this match, even off the top as she was attempting it. We need to see it off the ladder.
Oh, of course, she's gonna do it off the ladder for sure.
Yeah. We see Javon Evans being interviewed before his match tonight, and he's asked, "Did you attack Noam Dar?" Javon says, "Come on, you know it wasn't me, and you know it wasn't my boy Trick. And I don't know who it was, but it doesn't matter if I fight Noam or Mensah here, and I'm about to get real wicked and real bouncy as he gets ready. He's gonna keep it bouncy, wicked, wicked, wicked." We see a young Carlee Bright walking up to Ava, and she goes, "Hey, GM Ava, I'm Carlee Bright, and I want a match. I came 13 in the combine, so I'm doing all right out of some of the women here. And I was punched in the face earlier tonight by who punched her in the face? Lola Vice?
Lola. It was Lola.
Yeah. Lola Vice punched me in the face, so I want a match with her." And Ava's like, "Yeah, sure, all right." So then goes on the phone or something. So that match is now. Okay, I have a question for you, Siino. Who is Carlee Bright?
So Carlee Bright just started having at least televised matches this year on Level Up. Just started like January or February, and she was having a bunch of singles matches. And then they paired her up with another lady named Kendall Gray. Now, these two look surprisingly very similar, where you could have told me they're twins or sisters and I would have believed you. And their whole gimmick of why they're teaming up is because they saw each other the first day in the PC and they're like, oh, we look like each other. We should team up. So, but the funny part is Carlee Bright is a cheerleader with a cheerleading background, and Kendall Gray has an amateur wrestling background. So even though they look alike, they wrestle very differently. And that's why they have the tag team name of Bright Gray. One is, Bright, and one is Gray.
Sorry. Their tag team name is Bright Gray.
Yeah. Kendall Gray and Carlee Bright. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
But now it's like they're I guess maybe Kendall Gray started a little bit later than Carlee Bright, but I don't think Carlee Bright's even, and we'll talk about it later on, but I don't think she's even ready to be on a live television just yet. But they gave her a chance here. This might have just been an opportunity for her, but I can see her kind of going back to level up for a couple more months. But also in this segment, while they were talking, Tatum Paxley was actually creeping through the door. Oh, that's why Ava got the phone call, and luckily she didn't go in there, and whatever would have happened with her and Tatum Paxley. But yeah, that's the story of Bright Gray. I swear, I'm not making this up.
I know, that's the thing. Like, okay, so like the past feels like months here in NXT, they're throwing a lot of new people on TV really quickly, and like sometimes I'm like, who is this person? I've never seen this. And then they have to try to explain who they are. And sometimes I think someone is someone else. Like I thought Brinley Reece was someone else for like weeks. And then
I will say there is a lot of tall blonde girls that even I get confused sometimes, like a who's who. So that I will say there is a lot that do like have similar hair and look very similar. So it is a little confusing even to me.
Like look, I don't watch Level Up as much as I should, but NXT is the true show, right? So if you're on Level Up, it's because you're practicing to get onto NXT TV. That's what they literally say later on when she has a match. They say like, hey, she's wrestled on Level Up, but like this is her first time on NXT, and they treat it like it's such a big deal. So like you do see a lot of the like green and up and coming people and kind of a little snippet of what it's basically to get them on TV for NXT, which is like NXT is to get people on TV for WWE. So what the hell is Level Up if, that kind of thing. So yeah, it is interesting to see like how they put people on TV and how people can improve and stuff. But this is someone I was like, oh my God, I have no idea who this is. And it was like, have I seen this person before? I don't know, because they're throwing people on TV too quick and not having any story or something. But I guess this is the intro to her. I mean, if you got punched in the face, maybe you'd want to fight someone. Right.
Yeah. So, at least give her reasoning. Yeah. She was just like an unlucky, bystander in the back. They just had to get punched in the face. But the fact that actually turned into a storyline in a way, even if it's a one night thing, I think it's pretty cool.
We go to our next match. Javon Evans taking on Ora Mensah. See, Javon Evans is a new character, and right away they give him video packages. They give him a nickname. They give him a catchphrase. Like he's great in the ring right away. I know who this guy is.
And he's doing both Level Up and NXT. He's like Level Up for the most part. So he's doing everything.
So Javon Evans taking on Ora Mensah in replace of Noam Dar. And Ora attacks him right away here. He's trying to get some revenge for his buddy as he thinks Javon attacked him. Ora hits this like springboard standing moonsault thing for a near fall. And then Evans comes back though with a snop Rana. And then Vic is like, oh man, this Evans, like, he's new here in NXT, but like, look how impressive he is inside this ring. And Booker T, just for no reason, goes, yeah, but can he draw money? Like, dude, he's been here for like
he's throwing his little digs here or there. And it's funny because right before that, Vic just said like he's killing it in the live events. Even when he shows up, you're smiling Booker, and Booker had to turn in and say, yeah, but can he draw money?
Like, I don't know. If you get over on your own, Booker T does not like you.
I think his gimmick is just like a disgruntled vet that can never be satisfied with any of these wrestlers nowadays, I feel like.
Yeah, really bizarre. During picture-in-picture, Ora hits this like rolling capo Liger kick right in the head, which looked nasty. When we come back, Evans tries to go for a Rana, but Mensah hits him with the alley-oop retro move there. What, Big Show used to do it? I swear, like Jeff Hardy or something. It looked great. Only a 2 count. Evans comes back, though, with a Gamengiri to the face and then a flying clothesline. He is indeed very bouncy. There's then this huge dive to the outside. We've seen him do this before. He clears the ropes when he does it's like the Undertaker dive, whatever you want to call it. It looks great. Eventually, though, Lash Legend goes to get a steel chair because Jakara and Mensah kind of tell her like, hey, help us cheat to win. And as she's grabbing a chair, out comes NXT champ Trick Williams. What is it? Tricky Wonka?
Tricky Willy Wonka. Trick Willy Wonka. There we go.
Yeah, something like that. And he's like, nah, you're not going to grab this chair. Don't do this. So she's kind of deciding like not to do it, which allows this like huge sidekick from Evans, which is welcomed back by a receipt from Mensah with this huge forearm. And I thought they were really going back and forth here. However, Evans drops him, goes up top and hits the corkscrew splash for the 1, 2, 3. So Evans beats Mensah. And you know what? I was kind of bummed that it wasn't Noam Dar, but I thought Mensah made the best of some TV time here because he was doing some pretty flashy moves. But I thought the striking between the two with the kicks and the knee pop-ups and the forearms were pretty good. And like both of these guys, Evans is really young and really new here. Mensah's been around for a while, but he doesn't always get to shine either. And I know he lost here, but he's Dar's lackey. But I think even in losing, he got some reps in.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite matches of the show. And like, I feel like, just like you, like, I feel like we always forget how good Mensah is. And it's like, what, the third or fourth time this has happened where like a match would be set up with Noam Dar and we're all excited because Noam's a great wrestler. And then he gets replaced by Ora Mensah. And we're like, okay, whatever. And then we see the match and we're like, oh yeah, Mensah's really good too. Like we forget till we actually see the match, right? And these two had great chemistry with each other. I couldn't catch the name of the finisher. It sounded like Hold It on the Road or Hold It in the Road. They definitely gave a name
on
for
road.
it. Yeah, but like that move, every time I see that, it's like the fact that you're jumping from like, rope to rope to rope, and then you're doing this twisting 360 twirl splash thing. Like you can't even describe it. You just have to show somebody it, right? But this match is amazing, and we're obviously going to get the inevitable match between Javon Evans and Noam Dar. But again, another match where multiple things were established. You have this Javon Evans Noam Dar match still lingering, then you also have this mystery between Lash Legend, because the entire show they're questioning her, like, why don't you think that Trick did it? What did you know that we don't know? So they're still keeping that mystery of Trick and Lashley. Obviously, we know they're together, but in kayfabe and storyline reason, we're not supposed to know that.
Yeah. No, I thought this was pretty good too. It could have been my match of the night as well. I thought they had great chemistry, and Javon is definitely someone to watch here. After that match with Ilya, I'm like, man, if you can go and have a good match with him, then like he made him look great. And I thought this was pretty good too. So can't wait to see the future of that guy, because he's sick. We go to Charlie Dempsey being interviewed. He says, don't worry, I have been in contact with Damon Kemp and Miles Bourne. They are alive. They're in rough shape after last week, but they're on their way here now, so they might be a little late. And he says, I could cry about it or I could fight, and that's what I'm going to do, because I haven't cried a day in my life. And I'm going to beat Tony within an inch of his life. Really? So, even when he came out as a baby and the doctor spanked him on his behind, he didn't cry? Nothing? Not one day, not one tear.
I mean, have you seen his father? His father doesn't cry, does he? Regal?
I feel like Regal wouldn't be a crier either, but...
So let me ask you a question. If you got kidnapped and thrown in the back of a trunk and whatever happened to you for the following week, would the first thing you do when you escape is make sure, if you're in rough shape, would you not go get checked out first, or would you rush to the wrestling arena and help out your friend?
Yeah, it's almost like they've been captive until now is what he means. Cause like, that's kind of like Tony and Stacks and the lawyer guy. Like if you could have just held them hostage a little longer, but yeah.
Conveniently, they're always only kidnapped for a week, right? So that's how it works at wrestling. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, in real life, when you get kidnapped, you usually don't ever show back up.
Yeah, you have to show up before 10 p.m. the next week. Yeah,
I watched way too much 2020 and 48 Hours and Netflix crime docs that, like, yeah, once someone's kidnapped, it's over. You're not coming back to save your friends in a wrestling match the next week. I love wrestling. I love Wes Lee, who is making his return. Yes, he made his triumphant return a few weeks ago, but he's here to cut a promo in the middle of this ring, and he comes in the ring and he says, I'm so happy to be back here. I've been through some dark times, but I have missed this. He says as soon as he knew he could get back in the gym, he was busting my ass in the gym. He said, I had one goal, and my goal was to get back here. My goal was to get back my North American title. And he's getting very emotional here, and the crowd is definitely behind him when Obafemi comes out to interrupt him. He says, I'm very glad you're back, but you will have to sit out and watch as I take this title to new heights, because I am the bringer of war, and I am the mountain you cannot climb. and you think you can prove yourself, but you won't be able to. And then out comes Ivar, who interrupts Wes, and Wes is getting angry, like, I'm just trying to talk from the heart, and people are interrupting me. And out comes it's Biker Ivar here.
The Biking Raider.
The Viking Raiders. I love how they just switched. We're less Vikings and now we're just bikers. I'm kind of down for it.
Have you seen some of the shit they were doing when they were introduced with the chicken with the turkey legs and the mini golf and all that? So I'll take aces and eights Ivar over whatever the hell they were doing. Keep
rolling. Get Chuck Palumbo in there. Get all the bikers in wrestling. But
Garrett Bischoff.
Viking Raider Ivar comes out and says, you know what, Wes, I've had surgery too. In fact, we had the same doctor. Shout out to Dr. Cordover, who worked on us both. Shout out doctors in the world. We all need doctors. And he goes, but I also want a shot at this title. And before Wes can even speak, Briggs' music hits, and Wes is just like, for fuck's sake, man. Briggs says, yeah, but Oba knows that we tore the house down at Stand and Deliver, and we're going to do it again. And I want to fight you, Oba. You know I can beat you. So Ivar and Wes, you can face the winner of us. And I think it's Wes who says, like, hey, why not both? Do a fatal 4-way. And Oba says, no. In fact, you three can fight, and the winner can face me to see who truly deserves it. So next week on NXT, Ivar, Wesley, and Briggs, and the winner faces Oba at Battleground. But some tells me that we still might get a fatal 4-way. I could be wrong, but I think I just maybe would prefer it. I think it would be pretty awesome with these three meaty guys and Wes.
Well, we might not even get the match next week because the ending segment of this show, all three of them were taken out. So
right,
we might not even get the match, especially if it's being taped tonight, right? Like, how are they going to have the match? So yeah, we might just go straight to the fatal 4-way. But I like how, like, the usual heel, they would say, you know, I don't want to do a 4-way, you guys fight it, and they would be like a Carlee heel. But the way that Oma is, obviously he's a big guy, he has his presence on him, so when he says things, it actually makes sense. It's like, no, he wants you guys to go out there and fight for it. So I do respect that. But I'm a big fan of Oba Femi. I just love all his lines about being, the ruler, the destroyer of worlds, and all that.
The mountain.
Yeah, he's great. And I'm not sure what's going on with Josh Briggs. Like, they totally dropped the thing with I forgot his partner's name already. Wow. Brooks Jensen. He's been like MIA. He hasn't even been on Level Up, or I don't think he's even doing live events. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. So
his social media has been like blacked out with like TV static, and then he posted during Wes's promo, he posted empty beer cans on his counter watching NXT. But you know what? That wasn't even the most concerning thing. He posted a photo at Brooks Jensen WWE. It's a photo of him watching NXT with a few beer cans and a case of beer. I wasn't even disturbed by that. I was just disturbed that it was Michelob Ultra. Could do better than that, Jensen.
Maybe he's joining the Wyatt Six. Maybe he's one of the one of the members.
Yeah, exactly. I hope he has his time to strike. But Triple H, please put him in Japan. Put him in Noah. Put him in something. I want to see Brooks Jensen become the best version of Brooks Jensen. Briggs, too. I've been liking this run from him as well. But, yeah, I hope he's all right. But, I'm not knocking anyone who drinks Michelob Ultra. I know it's light in calories. And that's probably why the boys want to drink them.
Yeah.
He's got to stay in shape. Ring shape. See, maybe he's coming back.
Yeah, we don't got to stay in ring shape, so we don't care.
Yeah, I'll just stick to – I don't even know what the last thing I drank, but – wasn't a Michelob Ultra. We're definitely not getting sponsored by them for the future events. But anyways, I do hope it is a fatal 4-way at Battleground. Sounds like it could be pretty fun. We see Chase U. They come up to Ridge Holland and they're like, "Hey, angry brother, like, you need friends? Because we can be your friends." And they say that we've got your back tonight, and that Riley will be his partner. And Riley looks a little confused, like, what? Say what now? I didn't agree to this. And then it is confirmed, Ridge and Riley taking on the Good Brothers later tonight. So there you go. We hear some snoring on a black screen. The snoring is back. And then you hear an alarm clock, meaning it's time to wake up.
It's time to wake up.
Stay woke.
So I know you guys last week were trying to like think, is she gonna like change her gimmick? Is she gonna be different? I could confirm she did make her return to Level Up with the same exact gimmick. So I don't think she's changing anything unless that was a way to swerve us or swerve me for being the only person watching Level Up. And maybe she is gonna have a totally new character. But as far as I know, she's doing the same thing she did before, which I'm a little disappointed with. I was a fan of Wendy Chu, but I was hoping she would switch up a little bit, do something a little bit different.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think we were saying last week with Davie is like they tried to do the sleepy Orange Cassidy kind of thing, but they didn't do it right. And I think if you like nitpick it and actually think it out and do certain things right, it could potentially work. Everyone likes to sleep and snooze, and I snore just like she did in this promo. So, in this promo, it was like a 3-second like blank screen, but we know it's her. And I'd say give it a shot, but like they need to change from what they were doing before because she'll just become stagnant again like she was. So it needs to kind of be more Orange Cassidy, and I don't know. Something.
I will say she got a really good reaction because it was a total surprise when she came out for her match, and
they should have kept that. Why didn't you keep that for? I mean, maybe you'll get it next week or.
Well, she still had the knee brace on, so maybe I'm guessing she's still like not 100% clear. I mean, she's obviously cleared to wrestle, but maybe she's still kind of not feel comfortable in the ring just yet to be on live television.
Right. We see Lexis King backstage hanging out with some NXT jobbers. And
excuse me, these jobbers have names. Okay, this is Uriah Connors, Dion Lennox, Lainey Reed, and Zena Sterling. How do you not know these people?
Yeah. How do I not? You're right. I should be on it. So he's hanging out with them and he's talking about how he wants to take everyone out and wants to have a fun time. And in comes Jasmine Nix, who asks everyone if they want to sign the Get Better Soon card for JC Jane. And all these people are like, JC Jane, no way. I'm not signing a card for her. She's awful. And they all kind of like walk off. And Lexis was pretty fun here. I'll give him credit. He goes like, oh, what brings you here, darling? And she's like, oh, I can't believe it. No one wants to sign my card for my friend. And he goes, don't worry. Here, honey, give me the card. I'll sign it for your friend Jamie. And she goes, it's JC Jane. He goes, yeah, I'll sign it for her. So he takes the card from the King to JC. There you go. See you around. And then he walks off, and then she reads it back, and she reads, Jackie, what the? Oh, that guy sucks. And then like walks off. I thought this was pretty funny too.
This is pretty funny. Honestly, his best stuff is like the backstage things like this. The funny part is like everybody knows somebody like this. Like we've seen people do this type of stuff, so that makes it even funnier. But the fact that he just like doesn't care. Obviously, we know what his intentions are. He doesn't care about Jackie or Jamie or whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought this was hilarious, and I'm not sure how this is gonna fit in the storyline. Like I don't think he's gonna be feuding with JC Jane or anything like that. So I'm not sure it was like a one-off type thing, or maybe he's just that's gonna be his gimmick now. He's gonna go around just hitting on all these performance center ladies.
Yeah, it seems like he's hitting on everyone. Is just his shtick. He's that sleazebag. I think he's really funny when he's doing these things, and then you remember he's supposed to be like a wrestler, and then he wrestles, and you're like, oh, he sucks. So maybe he should just not be wrestling and
be a manager.
This stuff, yeah, because he comes across as a slime ball with that lineup, that fade. I swear he dyed it like different color. Oh man, it's ridiculous every time. Still can't wrestle though, but he's pretty funny and being a good bad guy. We go to Chase U, kind of. It's Ridge and Riley versus the OC, the Good Brothers. And Booker's going off about you can't trust the messenger or shoot the messenger, shoot the message. I don't know. He's always on one. Riley hits a standing a moonsault press, like a lion salt, and then a standing shooting star press on Carl for a near fall. Carl comes back at him, though, with a spine buster for a 2 count. And then they start tagging in and out as they beat down on Riley. But eventually he hits a whisper in the wind. Shout out Willow, Jeff Hardy, for a chance to finally tag in the angry brother Ridge, who comes in here. He's hitting body slams and then the snow plow on Carl. 1, 2, but Luke Gallows breaks it up. They're all brawling here, and Ridge goes for the Alabama slam. He saw that OTM hit it earlier, and it got them a W, so he goes for it. He's standing there for quite a while as Riley goes for a springboard, like phenomenal forearm or something, and Gallows moves out the way, which means Riley hits Ridge, allowing Carl to drop out of him, roll him up for the 1, 2, 3, and the Good Brothers win. But the story is that Riley kind of messed it up for Ridge. But Ridge was standing there quite a while with him on his shoulder.
It's kind of awkward when you mess up the spot that's supposed to be a mess up spot, if that makes any sense. Like,
Yeah.
it felt even more off than it was supposed to be, to the point where it's like, I don't even know what I just saw right here. Yeah, that aside, the match was fine. It was just like a way to, to get Ridge, like the angry Ridge, to come in and do everything. And then the story was the finish to kind of keep them like still separated, not on the same page. But yeah, Booker was going off. I wrote down like all his notes in here. He's screaming to Vic to, you never been in the wrestling match before. And then he's like, don't pivot when he was trying to change the subject. But my favorite part of this match was when the Good Brothers were making their way to the ring, and Carl Anderson, right before they go to the commercial, he looks in the camera and he's like, yep, full-blown NXT guys here, like just like still hitting that in the head. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, this match was okay. It was just like the story was to continue this disconcern with Ridge, and should we trust him or should we not trust him here and Chase You?
Yeah, so we need the Good Brothers in the PC, in the Combine. We need to see them doing.
I thought you were going to say the Good Brothers.
I
thought you were going to say the Good Brothers in Chase You, just sitting down with the jerseys on, with the U's up and all that. Yeah,
they should do like everything. Like they should try to be. We see like, hey, welcome here to NXT. Did you know you have to set up the ring? And they're like, oh yeah, we'll set up the ring.
We see them go to the barber shop, and the barber's like, what do you want me to do?
What hair? This could be pretty good. If they want to make that funny, they could try to do like all the stereotype NXT, like them hanging out in the parking lot,
shooting dice with OTM.
Yeah. Trying to get Chase to gamble again. Yeah,
could be fun.
Could be good. I'll fast forward ahead because we had a moment where there was Chase U talking to Riley like a bit after, and basically they're like, oh, we're so sorry of what happened, and Riley was apologizing, and Ridge is like, hey man, these things happen, don't worry about it, don't let it get to you. And then he kind of walks off, and the rest of Chase U are like, see, he is a good guy. And Riley's like, oh, maybe he could be. So I think Ridge is going to be in Chase U. I mean, he was wearing red tights in this match.
Yeah, he's pretty much already in the group, right? He was pretty much saying like, he hopes that Chase U can still trust them. And they were like, yeah, we trust you. But even Riley was kind of like giving him like the side eye. So who knows? Maybe like somebody, I feel like Duke has been very quiet in this whole thing. So I feel like maybe he might not be totally with it. He just has a very non-trustworthy face to begin with, but come to find out, he just has a smug look. That's just how he is. So every time he's
hurting people.
So like for the past like 2 years, I've been thinking about Duke turning on somebody, but no, that's just what he looks like. That's just how he is.
Are you talking about? Yeah, Duke does look like he would turn. Like we've been waiting for that turn for a while. It's just been working too well. We get a video to tell everyone, hey, remember we said Carlee Bright was wrestling tonight? Anyways, here's a video that kind of shows who she is.
She's actually wrestled before. Here's some matches.
Hey, look, her name's Carlee Bright. Did we mention her name is Carlee Bright? Here's some information about her.
Here's some bright colors for her.
Carlee Bright. So Carlee Bright comes out. She's taking on Lola Vice. And I will say Bright like tries to escape out of some moves, like landing on her backflips and stuff. But Lola just starts kicking at her. Eventually, Bright goes for like a sunset flip. And then Lola is just standing there. And you can clear as day hear the ref yelling at Bright here. Roll her up, roll her up, roll her up, roll her up. And then finally she rolls her up. 1, 2, 2. It was very awkward. And I'm sure we'll be coming to a Botchamania very, very soon. But wow, this was something. The match continued though. And then there's a moonsault for a 2 count, like a standing moonsault from Bright for a near fall. Lola comes back with a kick to the side to the back, like these axe kicks, and then hits the swinging back fist for the 1, 2, 3. As Vic is mad, Booker interrupted his joke and then has to do it again and says, it looks like Lola dimmed Bright's lights. Good one, Vic.
He's waiting all night to say that.
And then Natalya and Petrovic come out, and it's all 4 of them are fighting and brawling. And then next week, it will be a tag team match between Shayna, Lola, Natty, and Petrovic. But like this Carlee Bright, like, again, I haven't seen her before. So I didn't see too much out of her. I felt like she was very green and came across like, again, that ref spot was definitely adamant that maybe this is still such a new thing for her. And I totally understand that. But Lola Vice is someone who's improved. So at the end of the day, it wasn't still like the most terrible thing I've ever watched if this is their first, televised match.
Yeah, I feel like maybe like they didn't really have anybody else to defeat the Lola because most of these girls are in this tournament for the North American title, and they have other people they want to save for Roxanne. So it makes sense to bring somebody up and looking at the people on Level Up. I guess Carlee Bray is one of the veterans, I guess, of Level Up, you can say. And she tried her best. She came out there, she was like holding her jaw to kind of portray that she got knocked out earlier on. But that one spot where you could hear the ref just getting louder and louder with the roller up, that was a little too much, to the point where it's like you should have just like skip that and do something else, at that point. But
roll her up.
Yeah, but it was 3 minutes. It wasn't too bad, but it kept Lola strong, and obviously it was just the angle to set up the tag match for next week.
Well, next week you mentioned there is that tag match: Natalya, Carmen, Lola, and Shayna. We also have Wes versus Ivar versus Briggs. Maybe we also have Brinley, Reece taking on Jada Parker, and Thea versus Fallon. So
yeah. So the other two matches that they set up early, like they announced them in the beginning of the show, the rest of the tournament matches. So the other two matches are going to be Michin versus Tatum Paxley, and then Kalani Jordan versus Ren Sinclair. So I'm guessing that's going to happen in 2 weeks to set up the 6-woman ladder match for Battleground.
Right. Yeah. Well, we then go to our main event of the evening, the Heritage Cup Championship on the line. The champ defending, Charlie Dempsey. No quarter catch crew clause on this one. So is that the NKCCC? The no
Please
quarter
don't.
catch crew clause?
Yeah, you lost me there. You lost me. Yes.
Every time he says anything with the abbreviations, I'm like, oh, stop it.
It's too much. It's too much. Yeah. If you have an acronym that has like there's too many letters. It doesn't roll off the tongue at all.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. So this is Tony D'Angelo taking on Charlie Dempsey, and his two friends aren't there, but Tony has the family. Technically, Charlie would be disqualified because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm a very well-known Heritage Cup enthusiast. Correct me if I'm wrong, you need someone in your corner.
I feel like there's been matches where there hasn't been somebody. They just encourage it, obviously, but I don't think it's required. I'm pretty sure there's been matches without it, but from what we've seen at NXT so far, yes. I think in NXT UK it wasn't really a thing, but in NXT they've established that it is something you should have in your corner.
You need a cornerman, or you forfeit, and he didn't have his buddies here. So
imagine his dad would have came out. That would have been so nice.
Great.
Yeah, they should have did that.
This is when Vic is like, hey, Mike Rome's back, Mike Rome. And this is when Booker's like, oh, you look at him. He looks so grumpy. I was dying laughing at this. So Tony versus Charlie, round 1. For those of you, what is a Heritage Rules match? Try to keep up. There's 6. Yeah, I get it confused too. 6 3-minute rounds, 2 out of 3 falls. And we start off round 1. Lots of mat wrestling and chain wrestling. It is Italian graps versus England graps here. Real graps. And I love how Vic Joseph explains that Rizzo is the one who came up with, yes, like Rizzo said, real G's move in silence like a lasagna.
He didn't even say it like that. He was trying to do the Lil Wayne line, right? Like G's moving sounds like lasagna, but the way he said it was like gangsters move in silence, like the letter G in lasagna. It's like, no, it's not
like the whitest way to this is, but he's saying it as if Rizzo was the one who created it, but just completely saying that Rizzo
he just butchered it. But then he just butchers the line to begin with. It's just like, that's not even how it goes.
Man. For those wondering, it is Lil Wayne, a true poet, once said, real G's move in silence like lasagna. And I'm sure you've heard of it. But I thought that it was funny trying to claim that like they came up with it.
Of course they did.
So there's some great wrestling here. There's counter for counter with Tony kind of trying to get the one up here with all these different pinning attempts. He eventually does, with 13 seconds left, a roll up. So Tony D'Angelo gets the first fall here, but there was some good mat wrestling. When we come to round 2, it's picture in picture, and Charlie's on him with a straight jacket. And then when we come back, there's a butterfly suplex, which is just beautifully transitioned into a cross arm breaker. Booker T was losing his mind. So was I. I know Daddy Rigo loved this one. A butterfly, like double underhook into the cross arm breaker. Very almost Dean Malenko like. And the time runs out as Tony like almost wanted to tap right as the buzzer went. But Charlie holds on to the hold just a few seconds after to kind of get that pain in before the ref stops him. So it's still 1-0 for Tony D. As we go into round 3, there's this crazy lift up from like an armbar from Tony that's then countered into a Fujiwara. So the counter was countered into a Fujiwara armbar. Like Charlie Dempsey is a great wrestler. I was really loving some of the graps he was doing here. He eventually, though, hits a bridging German on him for a 1-2-3. It is now 1-1 for both men. We go into round 4, and Dempsey starts attacking the arm again. He keeps trying to go for these arm bars, and eventually they do the powerbomb spot again, but Tony with the Rampage Jackson lifts him up and power bombs him down. He then hits him with a spine buster on top of that for a 2 count, but the time is out. So it is still 1-0 with 1 round to go. When they start to go at it, we have a German suplex from Tony for a near fall, but this is when Damon Kemp and Miles Bourne show up, and now the family and those two are brawling. Everyone's fighting, and there's a beautiful European clutch. Zack Sabre Jr. would be proud from Charlie Dempsey, but somehow Tony D gets out of it. The crowd's going nuts. He hits the forget about it, and Charlie Dempsey can forget about the Heritage Cup because 1-2-3, Tony D'Angelo picks up the win and is now your Heritage Cup champion here in NXT. So Siino, Tony D is taking the cup home to Italy.
He did it. He couldn't do it like Rocky in Philadelphia with the NXT title, but this is second best is me reviewing it on a show and talking about it right after it. This match was fine. The thing is, like, I used to love the Heritage Cup when it was on NXT UK, and I think the reason why I'm not enjoying it as much here in NXT is honestly because of the commercial breaks, because it makes it so predictable. You have round 1 where there's always a fall, right? Round 2 is always done in picture-in-picture, so nothing's going to happen. But then when we come back for round 3, there's a second fall, and it's tied up. And then either round 5 or round 6 is when you have the final one. So that's like a little predictable to me. But the match was okay. I do like how they brought up his amateur background. They didn't call him Italian Kurt Angle like you do, but they did mention that, and that was a good reasoning why he could stand toe-to-toe with Charlie Dempsey. I did find it hilarious, though, when Kemp and Bourne came up. And, of course, you got to show visually that you got kidnapped and beat up. So their shirts have, like, comical holes in them. Their hair is, like, scattered all over the place, and to show that they were beat up or whatever. So that was pretty funny. And the only thing that upsets me is his finisher. It's called Forget About It when it's the Fisherman's Buster. It should be like, don't sleep with the Fisherman's Buster. Don't sleep with the Fisherman's or something along those lines. Yeah. But other than that, I enjoyed the match. It was fine. And I'm very happy that Tony D'Angelo's he's bringing the cup home. Now he's got to have the cup right next week with the pasta in it, right?
Yeah, he's got to. I mean, he's Italian, but he's definitely promote that he's like New York Italian. So they could have like a send him home and do a parade. People will be like, wait, what cup is this? What is this?
Well, like cup? The cup itself is going to be filled with like either like pastries or like pasta. It's going to have something in the cup. You gotta,
gravy.
Put the sauce. It's not gravy. Put the sauce. Put the sauce in the cup. Yes.
Yeah. Put the sauce in the cup and walk around. People
dip the bread in it. Yeah. There we go. Perfect.
The garlic bread in it. Yeah.
Perfect. Love it.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Proud Italian winning here on NXT. I didn't mind the match. I'm shocker. Not a big fan of the Heritage Cup matches, but like the grappling was there between these two. Like Tony D is a good wrestler, like you said. He's got the background there, but it's Dempsey that I have lots of interest in. Like I find that he gets better and better at the wrestling aspect, and I really want to see him excel. And I'm not just because he's Regal's kid, but there's that adds like a layer to it, and I think he's improving a lot. And I think once he really fine tunes his like promo skill and acting ability, I think he could be a real killer in WWE. So, and will retire Bryan Danielson. I'm calling it. One day somehow he will do it. But I didn't mind this one as far as the Heritage Cup. Like there was some good stuff in it, but I still either this or the Mensah match was the highlight of this show, I'd say. But right after this, we get a classic. This felt like old school WCW. What's that? What's going on? Or like Don West and TNA. We got to go to the back, and we cut to the back, and we see Josh Briggs is attacked. Ivar is attacked. Everyone has been taken out. As the camera turns, and it's Gallus. Pure Gallus. Yes, they say, we're back. Surprise, surprise. This is just the start as NXT goes off the air. Yes, the Gallus boys are back.
I was waiting for them to pan out, and behind them we see the final boss,
The Rock.
The Rock. Obviously, Gallus was sent there by The Rock, and Ava, they got connections.
Go check on my daughter. Make sure things are going all right down there.
They're part of the Gallus bloodline, so yeah.
The Rock. Like Gallus helped train The Rock.
Yep.
And then now they're back in NXT. So
they haven't been doing anything since. Like maybe like a main event here or there, but they haven't really been wrestling anywhere.
Well, they've been drinking The Rock's tequila.
That makes sense.
No, they legit posted that The Rock sent them. The Rock looked like they sent each of them a bottle of tequila, of his own tequila, obviously. And people were kind of clowning them because it wasn't even the Reposado. For those who know, you know. It was like, Rocky, you could have like sprung for the...
Yeah, these guys helped you have a 45-minute match at WrestleMania.
These guys helped you have a 4.5-star classic at WrestleMania or something like that.
Send them a case at least.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah. Anyways, so that was NXT. Gallus without the final boss showing up, and they are back. So we're not sure what they're going to do or what angles they're going to do, but I'm sure they're going to be involved in Battleground. Maybe Joe Coffey is added to this multi-matchup, considering, like you said, Briggs and Ivar have been taken out.
Okay, I didn't think about that. Yeah, them kind of putting themselves in the match. Yeah, that makes sense.
The tag division is pretty weak right now, too. Like, they could have some matches with Axiom and Frazier. I hope the time away from NXT, maybe they come back with some like stronger ideas. And I'm a Gallus defender. One of our favorite bartenders in Toronto knows them personally, and I always like rib them about them and say like, "Oh, Gallus boys, pure Gallus." But I told her that they were training with The Rock, and she saw that on the social media and everything. She's like, "Well, that's crazy and everything." But I hope that this Coffee, the one, was it Joe Coffey, doesn't do that headbutt anymore. Just don't bring that headbutt back. But what do you think of NXT this week?
It was good. There's a lot of development. There's a lot of like every match had something important in it. You had, some development between the tag match with Lola Vice and Natalia. You had the Lash legend, Trick Williams mystery of, are they together? Are they not still lingering there? You had this big mystery at the end. These guys getting attacked. So are we going to get this match next week? Who knows? So I do like how every segment, there was nothing like really that you could like, that was a waste to watch. Everything had a purpose in a way. So I enjoyed the show. It wasn't wrestling wise. Like there was only two matches I really enjoyed, the main event and the Javon Evans or Mensah match. So wrestling wise, it wasn't the strongest show, but I do like how there was a lot of storyline and development throughout.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite episode, but there was some bad stuff. There was some bad wrestling, but there was some good wrestling as well, and stuff that kind of, I feel like we're in a weird era with everyone kind of leaving. Like our Ilias, our Bronze, and our Mellows are gone. We're kind of like really starting from the ground up. Like they calling up someone to put on TV, like a Carlee Bright, like seemed like a random last minute kind of thing, or was this like, oh, this is the way we'll bring you onto TV? I don't know. It feels like they're really putting people on TV quicker and like doing the releases that we've seen, like moving things quicker, like the way a developmental system actually should be. So I'm like, you can't be mad at it, but it wasn't my favorite episode, but it didn't necessarily piss me off. And Booker T always makes me laugh. So
there we go. As long as Booker's there, it makes the show fun.
Exactly. So that's what we thought of NXT from May 14th, 2024. We have a Facebook group where we post feedback threads. Search Poison Rana in Facebook or any podcast app or whatever. But we have a Facebook group you should join, and we post feedback threads up there. And I see that Frank, the BDE champ, Fire Frank, writes in, "Welcome back to the show, Siino. I wonder what side Goldie Collins' dog, Alexander, is taking in the WoW Civil War." I mean, any side that Goldie's on, obviously. Right?
She hasn't picked sides yet. She's one of the few that has been stayed very silent throughout all this. So we don't know what side Goldie's on, but whatever side she's on, I'm on her side.
Maybe she'll be a dog whistleblower.
Yes, perfect.
Frank continues, "In the battle of the NXT UK versus NXT Italy, Tony D took home the cup for the family, for me and Siino and the rest of Italian NXT universe.
Yes.
Booker and his ladder match expertise set the tone tonight. Evans had another strong showing against Oro. Gallus lads are back for it all. I know Leone will be excited. Hopefully he has the captions turned on." Yeah, it wasn't hard to hear them say surprise, surprise, but everything else past that, I was like, what'd you say?
And I could go to our other piece of feedback with Muggin here, who says NXT has gone to the whodunit well, and for once, Trick is on the other end of the stick, as Noam Dar got jumped. Lash being so conflicted and flustered when the champ comes around is a sign that she's on her way out of metaphor. She's going to earn the power of love. Evans versus Mensah was a good showcase of Oro being the resident good hand of the roster. Sol Ruca's Orton-style creativity to setting up the Soul Snatcher is quite brilliant. Obafemi's confidence is beyond his age. The three-way next week should be killer, if we get it. The Heritage Cup continues to be marred by nonsense finishes, but Tony's best matches are with European stars from Dunn to Ia and now Dempsey. His amateur background paid off here. No Roxy tonight, but it's fine. There's still time for Battleground to take shape. Get these Gallus boys out of here. They stank. Aww. And then also, thank you, Muggin. He did a super chat earlier when we were speaking about the King of the Ring, where he says, no shame in Ia losing to Jay. Berlin is the goal. Yes, I would love to see Gunther and Dragunov face off in Bash in Berlin. That's definitely the place that match should take place in. Absolutely. I would love to see that at Bash in Berlin. I'm so upset we're not going to that one because I'm sure they'll turn up. But that's, I've been saying, is these crowds, you're paying money to go to these wrestling shows. Be excited, please. Because like NXT, I get there's like 30 people in this small little arena and they pipe in noises and here and there. But like some of these other shows, turn up, people, please, please. Thank you, Megan and Frank, for writing in. And thank you, everyone out there, for listening and supporting here at Post Wrestling and Poison Rana. We'll be back on Sunday. Davie Portman will be in-house. We'll be reunited in the BDE on Sunday for a new Poison Rana live. So join us at 2 p.m. on our YouTube page. Hit that subscribe because we're going to chat about some Dynamite and I think maybe some Vince stuff and who knows what else is going on in the world of wrestling. And we'll be back next Tuesday as well here after NXT. But Siino, thank you for sitting in, chatting about some NXT. You do so many other shows. How many have you done this week already? Holy cow, but thank you. Yeah, no, thank you for having me on here. Yeah, like I said, definitely check out the What Up Doe episode that we did. Even if you don't care about hip hop, I think it's a very entertaining listen to hear like myself and Braden, as well as B Detroit and Wei Ting, who really takes this stuff seriously. He does his research. He was going in on some things that we didn't even know about. So definitely give it a listen. You'll definitely be entertained by that. Shot in the Dark. I'll be talking about the Wendy Chu return that we spoke about briefly on this show. I'll get into that as well. Collision Course on the Post Wrestling Cafe. Me and Kate from Montreal discuss what's been 3-hour episodes the last couple of weeks with the NBA and NHL playoffs happening. We've been pulling double duty, doing 3-hour shows. And then I recently was actually on Scrump from PWTs. We reviewed the Lego movie. So that should be out soon. So when it is, I'll be sure to show that off on all my social media. You can follow me at Siino Evil, CNOEVIL. There you go. Go follow this man. He covers a lot of wrestling. You are the completionist. You know everything. You watch every show. I don't think anybody I know watches all of the shows that you watch. So you know everything. You are the all-seeing eye of Siino Evil, watching all the wrestling. So yeah, listen to Shot in the Dark. In 15 minutes or less every week, he fills you in. You fill the people in on all the wrestling that they may or may not watch. So you can know everything and know who to watch and all that stuff. I always appreciate a John Siino recommendation. So thank you for joining. You're always welcome on Up Next and Poison Rana as per usual. We got to do another show soon. Maybe we have an Up Yours coming up. Possibly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I can definitely pick something. Let me think. Top of my head, I can't think of nothing, but I'm sure I have something really interesting to you guys to review. Are you coming up for Money in the Bank? You thinking about it? Yeah. I already took the time off. I'm definitely coming up for Money in the Bank. Yes. Excellent. Let's do it. Can't wait. We'll have to record some stuff there. We'll have a fun time in the city as well. So can't wait for that. Everyone, go check us out on the socials, as I said, at Poisonrana Pod, patreon.com/PoisonRana, yada, yada, yada. Check it all out. Appreciate everyone out there. And myself, Braden Herrington, you can follow me at the Bray D. So I believe that is it. Thank you, everyone in the YouTube chat. I really appreciate you all listening. And that's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And roll her up. Roll her up. Siino, roll her up. What do you? Hey, your background could use some sprucing up. I know an interior designer if you want to. Cheers, everybody.